Hey everybody, today I'm going to be trying to troubleshoot a problem with the Evap system on my 2001 Dodge Ram 1500. I'm going to apologize in advance for the quality of the video. The last few videos I've posted have all been shot with my Samsung Galaxy S4 phone, which unfortunately met an early demise yesterday. It fell off my belt clip as I was going down some stairs and the screen shattered, so I'm awaiting a replacement right now. So anyway, I'm having to film this with my old Droid, and the camera's kind of blurry. I think it's got some junk behind the lens. So anyway, this isn't going to be the clearest video, but hopefully it'll get the point across. So anyway, let's get to it. The issue I'm having is I've had a check engine light on for probably 2 years almost, and I just ignored it because I knew it was related to the Evap system, which shouldn't really affect the drivability of the truck. But I finally reached the point where I'm sick of looking at the check engine light. So, first of all, if you've seen one of my other videos, on Dodge vehicles, there's a pretty cool way you can just check your engine codes without having to get a scan tool or go to the auto parts store. So basically, you're just going to put the key in the ignition, turn it on, and turn it off 3 times. Not actually start the engine, but turn it to the accessory on position once, twice, and on the 3rd time you leave it there and the code should flash down here where the odometer is. So let's give it a try. I believe the code I have is P0455 if I remember correctly, but let's watch and see what happens. Alright, once, twice, 3rd time, P0455. That's blurry as heck, but so that's the code. If you look that up, I believe it's a large leak in the Evap system. So, anyhow, I've done some snooping around, and I think I've found at least part of the problem. There's a hose on the Evap canister down, I guess, back by the fuel tank that feels like it has a cut in it or a broken section. I'm going to start there and replace that. I may find that there's more hoses that are broken between there and the engine compartment, but anyway, I'm going to start there. Let me crawl under the vehicle and show you where I'm going to start. It should be pretty easy to get out, so let me grab some tools and get in position, and I'll show you where I'm going to look to make the repair. Okay, I'm under the vehicle. I am on the passenger side, just below. This is an extended cab, just below the rear door. This is the let's see, that's the rear door right here that I'm tapping on, and you can see one of the body mounts here. Just behind that is this Evap canister, and I don't know if, man, it's blurry. Wish I had my other camera, but that hose right there feels like it's split on this end down here. So to get that out, I think all I got to do is let's see if I can shine a light there. There's 2 nuts there. I believe they're 13 millimeter. And over here, there you go. There's another bolt there, 13 millimeter. And that should release this this whole bracket here. And I should be able to get it down to where I can get that hose off. So I'm just going to back those bolts out and take a look. Hopefully it comes out without much problem. Okay, well, I'm a dummy. I just realized that I could turn the LED light on the camera while I'm filming, so that helps quite a bit. So as you can see, I've gotten these 2 bolts out, that bolt out, and it turns out there's another one right there. So I just need to get that one out from the top side, and this bracket should come down. So let me grab my wrench and get that one out, and then we'll see what we're working with. Okay, so I got the bracket down, and I think the problem is pretty obvious. Let's say that's going to be part of it right there. This hose is supposed to connect to that nipple right there. Obviously, it hasn't been connected in a long time. Furthermore, this hose here is showing signs of being split, so we need to replace that too. So I guess I'm just going to pull this section off this rigid line, pull this hose off, run out to the parts store and try to find something the same diameter. Should be a pretty cheap fix. And probably grab a couple hose clamps to secure it. So looks like I got some quick shopping to do, and I'll be back here to finish up. Okay, before I go shopping, I just realized that this piece here is also getting kind of brittle, starting to perish. I don't know that that's going to be a easy to find item. I may have to come up with some sort of different adapter, but basically this line connects into it, and then they connect to that nipple right there. So I don't know. I'll pull this off and take it with me and see what I can find, but I might have to do some backyard engineering on that one. Also, this bracket is looking kind of rusty on top, so while I have it down, I might give it a quick coat of paint. Maybe hit it with some rust inhibitive primer and some paint. I don't know, we'll see how ambitious I get, but anyway, I'm going to run up to the parts store and get what I need and then go back to make the fix. Okay, I just got back from the parts store. I think I found enough parts and pieces to sort of rig something up. But like I said before, this bracket's pretty rusted here, so I'm going to remove these canisters. As you can see, there's just a few nuts and bolts that hold them on. And I'll probably hit this with a wire brush, maybe put my wire brush wheel on my grinder and strip off the rust, and then paint it with some like rust inhibitive paint. So I'm just going to disassemble the pieces now, and then I'll clean it up and give it a spray down, and I'll show you a shot right before I put everything back together. So I'll get it all cleaned up and show you the finished product. Okay, I just finished cleaning up the bracket. I put the wire wheel on my grinder, got off all the rust and the primer that wasn't, and the paint and primer that wasn't adhered anymore. I mean, it's not perfect, but it'll be better than it was. So now I'm going to, actually I just finished cleaning it with some paint prep. This is the kind that I used. And now I'm going to hit it with some Rust-Oleum Rust Performer. It's supposed to convert any leftover rust to a paintable substrate. And then after that I'll probably hit it with some black enamel paint to protect it. So anyway, I'm not looking for beauty here. I'm just looking for something that'll protect the bracket. So anyway, I'm going to get it painted up. I'll let it sit overnight and then I'll put it back on tomorrow. Okay, I've got the final coats of paint on the bracket and I'm ready to put everything back together. It came out pretty good. Again, this is not for aesthetics, it's just to keep it from rusting. So anyway, it goes back on like this. The smaller canister goes like that. Just need to screw these bolts back in. And then I will start reconnecting the hoses. So let me get it bolted in and we'll start putting everything back together. Okay, I've got the canisters reconnected and I've got the hoses put back on. If you remember from the teardown portion, this is the fitting that was connected here, and there's two rigid lines that come off of here. Well, obviously that's a pretty specialty piece, so I couldn't find that at the local parts store. I just rigged up a T fitting, and I'm going to use some flexible hose to go from the T to each one of the rigid lines. Put some hose clamps on it. That should work. This hose here was pre-bent, and I couldn't find anything that went from, I think the outside diameter of this nipple here on the canister was 3/8, and over here it was like 7/16, and I didn't feel like spending a bunch of money for fitting, you know, like reducer fittings and everything. So anyway, what I did was just chop the end off the old hose where it was split, and I had just enough length to get it back on there. It's not ideal. You know, really I should do it the right way and replace it. I just couldn't find the right fittings and hose size and everything, so I'm making do with what I got. I plugged this T and blew air in here and pressure tested it, and it's holding pressure, so I mean that should be fine. You know, it might fail in a couple years and I might have to do it again, but whatever. I'm not too worried about it. Here I just got a new piece of hose, and I'm going to carry this out to the vehicle and chop it off at the correct length. So anyway, I'm ready to go. I'll get my tools and everything in position and get ready to bolt this back on the truck. Okay, I'm ready to put everything back in now. As you can see, here's the larger rigid line, and here are the two smaller ones. Now this one, I think, it's got a like a barb in the end of it. I think I'm just going to cut that off and just take this flexible hose straight to the T-fitting that I put in on this side, and then the one facing the other direction, I'll put a piece of hose to connect to this one. This one is going to be a little bit tricky, this larger hose. The old piece that was on here was a pre-bent 90. This one's obviously just regular hose, is not pre-bent. The problem I'm going to have is it wants to, the bend, 90-degree bend wants to hit up here, because since it's not pre-bent, it's making a long sweep. So I don't know, I may just end up leaving this entire length on here and sort of looping it back around to connect to here. I sort of got to finagle it with both hands to get it in there, but that's my game plan anyway. So anyway, I'm going to put the camera down, try to get it in place, and then I'll show you how I ended up doing it once I'm all done. Alright, and I got everything back in place. Here I ended up having to use that nipple that was installed originally after all, because the diameter of this flexible line that comes out here was too small to fit on this hose barb T. I think this is a 3/8 diameter, because that's what goes into the nipple on top of the canister. So I had a 3/8 by 3/8 by 3/8 T here. So I used a piece of like, I think this was like 5/16 hose. It was just wide enough to force onto the 3/8 nipple, barb, and then just small enough to fit on that nipple that goes to the 1/4" line. So got all that spliced together. Of course you can see the other line coming off the T in the back, and then here's the larger diameter. I think this was like 5/8 hose, and I just used heater hose. It's probably not the best. I mean, it's not going to have gas running through it, but it's going to have gas fumes. So I don't know if that's going to eat that hose up or not, but that's what they had at the parts store in that diameter. That's what I went with. This is not the prettiest thing in the world. A professional would probably look at this and cringe, but it's a 13-year-old truck. This is all about functionality for me, and this should fix the check engine light. As you can see, I didn't put that bolt back in on top. I don't think I really need it. It's kind of tough to get to, and you've got one on this side, two on the other. There shouldn't be any force on this bracket, so I'm not going to worry about it. Anyway, so I'm just going to drive it around for a little while. The engine light should eventually go out on its own. I could disconnect the battery for a little while, but I'd rather just drive it and let the engine light go out on its own, so I'll know that I fixed the problem. If it doesn't go out, then I'll need to start tracing these rigid lines. I don't think they're going to have any cracks in them, but where they transition to soft line very well could be split, just like it was here at the canisters. In fact, when the engine light first came on, I looked under the engine compartment and found a split hose. So if you have this problem, you can check here as well. This all here is part of the Evap system. I think this is a charcoal filter. I think this is the pump that runs the Evap system. And you can see here, where I spliced these lines together, there was a split in this hose where it connects right here. So I replaced that. Obviously it didn't make the light go out, so of course it's obvious now what the problem was. So hopefully the light will go out on its own after I drive it some, and I won't have to troubleshoot anymore. So anyway, it was a pretty simple fix. If you're having the same engine code on your truck, I would start at the canister, fix that first, and see where you can go from there. Alright, good luck to you, and thanks for watching.